Well, from Thursday, the energy supply was interrupted in Venezuela. It was eventually restored amid an already growing crisis, an opposition leader declaring himself, and not Maduro, who won the election, president of that country, with the blessing, of course, of the Lima Group and the United States of America. Now, Venezuela is experiencing food shortages, massive inflation, and protests as the U.S. seemed determined to influence developments in that country, and that the border regimes, that borders on what many people call regime change. For a Venezuelan perspective on the crisis, we are now joined by that country's ambassador to South Africa, Mairin Moreno. Ambassador, good morning. Thank you so very much for joining us on this program.
Thank you, Karima. Thank you for the invitation.
Okay. Now, there is, of course, conflicting views in the world about what is happening in Venezuela. If you watch CNN, if you watch all the mainstream Western newspapers and television, what we have is Maduro being a dictator. People fleeing the country. There's hyperinflation. There's no food. You don't want to allow food into the country from the United States, and that you actually, your elections wasn't fair, and that the opposition leader, Mr. Guaido, is in fact the de facto president of that country. What is the Venezuelan government's view on that narrative that has been put out by the West in the world?
Okay, it's very interesting, no? Because in Venezuela we have currently a media international coup d'état in development, but the coup d'état and the attacks against the Bolivarian revolution is not new, Karima. This comes from the President Chavez, but when the President Chavez passed away, the attacks against the Bolivarian revolution has been increased every day, every month. From 2015, the President Obama signed a decree when they say Venezuela is a national threat to the government of the United States. It's funny, no, but it's true. And last year, the President Trump redid this, and this year also. And from the President Maduro arrived to the power, the attacks, like I told you, increased every day, the sanctions, also the price of the oil was yes, and because we had one price 120 and the price was 25, no? And our economy depends 90% of the oil. And they take this situation to increase the pressure against the Bolivarian revolution. And the situation is they want to asphyxiate us, to, after that they come to save, no? But and last year we have election according with our constitution. We have the President Maduro won the election with 67% of the voters, and the government of the United States and the opposition in Venezuela, they say the election in Venezuela is not legal because not all the political parties participate. But all the political parties was called to participate in the election, but some of them decide not participate. It's like here in South Africa, you have election now, and maybe two political parties decide not participate, and after that, the government of the United States come to say the election in South Africa is not legal because this or that party didn't participate, no?
So you reject the position of the United States that the election was fraudulent and illegal?
Yes, completely, because our election was illegal, and we almost 300 of international observers participate in our election. The African Union sent a delegation to participate in our election. Also, one delegation from South Africa participate in our elections.
Yes. In fact, there's a delegation there now. Before you come in, Peter, I just want to refer our viewers to this picture. This is a picture of the leader of the opposition, Mr. Guaido, who's a self-declared president of Venezuela. Explain to us who the lady next to him is. Ambassador.
Okay, according to this lady, she's a member of the CIA, and she accompanied him in the tour by Latin American countries before on the 23rd of February when they tried to make a military intervention in Venezuela by the humanitarian aid. This lady always are with him, and she is one of the advisors of him, and you can take your conclusion, you know, because
so essentially you are saying that the CIA is trying to intervene in your country
yes.
In different ways via the economic aid that they've brought, as well as putting this advisor next to Mr. Guido, and also trying to get the army to not back Mr. Maduro. That's your official position?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this guy is practically a puppet of the United States. They can take his own decision. He followed directly the instruction from the government of the United States, from John Bolton, from Marco Rubio, from...
Can I just make an intervention?
Yeah, I wanted to come in.
So wherever we are in the world, particularly left-wing dictators or authoritarian governments running failed economies blame the United States for their job. Zimbabwe does, Venezuela does, North Korea does. The fact is that when Hugo Chavez died in 2013, Venezuelan inflation was already 800%. It's now 13,000%. Later this year, it will reach 1 million%. The minimum wage in Venezuela is $6 a month. It buys 2 eggs a month, 2 eggs a day. It's about 700 calories. 5.3 million Venezuelans have left the country. You can't buy toilet paper in Venezuela. I don't know what the ANC delegation is going to be doing while they're there. I hope they took their own. This is a country, and you have to understand this. This is the country with the biggest oil reserves in the galaxy, in the world. And they cannot feed their own people. And to blame America for that, to me, Ambassador, is just completely ridiculous. Whether this woman, and we don't know, whether she worked for the CIA or not, is not the problem. Guaido became president or declared himself president because of a constitutional opportunity. They claim, and a lot of Venezuela's neighbors in Latin America also support him. They claim that the election last year was invalid. And therefore, in the absence of a properly elected democratic government, the head of the National Assembly becomes president, and that's what he's done.
No. He practically violates our constitution, because in our constitutions, the figure of self-proclaimed is not exist in our constitution. And they take the article of our constitution, they say in case of the president falta absoluta.
Yeah, I'll read it for you.
Absolute fault of our president, he can, the National Assembly. But in this case, it's not the case that they do. He went to the square to self-proclaim president. Why he didn't proclaim president in the National Assembly? Because the majority of the opposition is not accept the situations, no agree with this situation also. They practically violate our constitution. Why you say it's invalid our election? Because our election was according to our constitution, and the election was in advance after the dialogue between the government and the opposition that they have in Dominican Republic between December 2017 and February 2018, and they agreed to make the election in April. And the day when they will sign the agreement, the leader of the opposition, he received a call, from
probably that woman.
Rex Tillerson. Yes, to receive the instruction to not sign the agreement. And after that, one part of the opposition, they went to the election, they participate in the presidential elections, and they accept the result. They accept the result. Our electoral system is one of the
Argentina, Brazil, Chile,
Please.
a large number of countries in Latin America did not accept the result of the election.
Yes, but they follow also the
CIA.
Of the
Is
United
it the CIA
States.
also?
They follow the instruction from the United States. Please,
please.
we have in Venezuela, we have one industry inflation, and the attack against our currency is very, very hard.
Yes.
No, it's very hard. It's true that we have hyperinflation in Venezuela, but it's true also that the government tried to help the people in Venezuela. We create a lot of social programs. We create programs to support, especially
to
support the people, especially the poor people in Venezuela.
I want to come in here. Peter is saying you don't have money, you can't feed your people, but you have gold that is being held by other countries. You have financial reserves that are being held by other countries. There's sanctions against you. What will happen if you are able, if those sanctions are relaxed? What will you get back, and how will you be able to use that to stimulate your economy and to feed your people?
Yes, part of the sanction, we have money to buy medicine, to buy food. The problem is, for the sanction, we can't make international transactions, no? And we have also a lot of money blockaded in different banks around the world.
How much money do you have that is blocked in the world?
Okay, and now in Euroclear in Belgium, one company in Belgium, we have more than $1.2 billion, and that money we use to buy medicine and food. We can use that. In this moment, we have a blockade more than $30,000 billion, and also after the self-proclaim, the government of the United States practically they stole one of the main companies of PDVSA, Citgo. They confiscate our company in the United States and confiscate all the actives.
Assets.
Yes, yes, in the United States. And also the government of UK blockade our reserve of gold for more than 6.
Well, in a way, it's to protect that gold for the future of Venezuela, because what will eventually
to protect like they protect in Libya, like they protect
Let me make my point. I'm just basically saying, of course, it's Venezuela's money, but how does this end? This has got to end with some sort of negotiated solution. The crisis in your country. You cannot survive 13,000% inflation. Your country is broken. It's finished. So there has to be some negotiated settlement to this crisis. And part of that is going to be paying back your debts, because you have huge debts. And if the gold is now used, if it's taken from London and used to pay off China or whatever debts just to keep going, then at the end of the crisis, when there's nothing left, you will have no money left. So all Guaido is saying to these countries is, don't give them the gold, keep it, because we're going to need it after we reconstruct this country. Your country is finished.
No,
it is.
How you can say this?
I can say it. There's so much good.
And this is the objective that the United States have. Put their hands in our natural resources.
It's not,
Put their hands in our natural resources. The President Maduro called to the opposition to dialogue, and when they called them now, in this week, they called the opposition to dialogue, but the government of the United States, Trump responded, no, we don't want dialogue.
But it's not.
Please.
But Peter,
we want Venezuela. Venezuela is a peaceful country. We want to arrange this situation in peace.
Peter, let me come in here. I think you make a legitimate point about the fact that the country is broken, but you can't dismiss the role of the United States in this. The United States has, as a policy position, the right to actually go into independent countries, interfere, not just in Venezuela, in Cuba, in Nicaragua, in Bolivia. This is the start. But I think you're not giving credence to the extent to which these people are going. I mean, the people that were involved in the Contra scandal are back in in play, and they went into countries that they have no business to do. Those countries must decide for themselves. Why is the United States involved?
Venezuela had inflation of 800%. What was it do? How did it get there? This is before, this is long ago.
Ambassador, what is your understanding of the United States plan in the Americas? Because there's the Lima group that Peter's referring to, which says that your country is broken, that you need to have a different system, and that you need to let go of the Bolivarian revolution. But you also have Bolivia that's doing very well. You have Nicaragua. You have Cuba that's done very well. And of course, you know that if Venezuela falls, it's like going to be like a domino effect. How do you respond to that?
Yes, they attack Venezuela because Venezuela is in Latin America after Cuba, was in the vanguard of the progressive countries. No? And we helped a lot our neighbors in Latin America.
I know your people were expelled from Brazil, for example.
Yes, before we have a good relation with all the countries, but now, from a few years ago, the governments changed to the right wings, and they follow the politics from the United States, but to attack Venezuela because the business with Brazil and Argentina and different countries was low after the government changed. And inclusive the Brazil canceled the flight to Venezuela and many others. But the situation now is it's true that we have hyperinflation, and we try to fix the situation, but the attacks against our economy is very, very hard. We have one website, the name is $1 Today, when they the currency, our currency, you can see our currency by this in the black market. And the people, the majority, follow this website. And you say, like, normally, you have one, the price of our currency increase. It's not normal, the situation, because maybe I don't know exactly what they're doing, but today the dollar is 1,000.
Yeah.
Yes, and afternoon is 2,000. How they manipulate, no, our currency, and this is part of the situation. The government tried to increase the salaries many times in the year to the people have access, not to buy food, and also create the program of the CLAC. The CLAC is a program to deliver the food in all the houses with the support of the communities.
Mm-hmm. Ambassador, we have to wrap, unfortunately. Of course, we will be watching very carefully what happens in Venezuela. The official South African position is different, Peter, from the United States. The South African government stands by the elected government of Venezuela. That is why there's a delegation there to see what happens. Thank you so very much for coming in. I'm sure we will be speaking again because the situation is, of course, on a knife-edge point. Still ahead on The Fix, we speak to Advocate Pansy Tlakula, South Africa's Information Commissioner, about the right to access to information in this era of big data.